So this video is going to give you a little more information about anxiety. And there's different types of things that may happen to people. And this is just going to give you a very kind of broad example until I go a little more in detail about my own personal experience and what kind of may be happening to other people. It's really more of an underlying issue, and it could be related to the health of your organs and your entire body. So let me give you my breakdown of what I was experiencing and basically how I was able to correct the issue. And this is my own experience. This is not medical advice. So don't take this as being a diagnosis or a actual solution to your problem. This is just what happened to me. And these symptoms mimic anxiety, but I never really had anxiety at all. Even though I would experience sweating, nausea, shaking, agitation, heart palpitations was the big one, and I'll go into that a little bit deeper here in a moment. Severe feelings of panic and shortness of breath. So, is there anxiety? Of course. If you're going to give a big speech in front of a lot of people, or you're going to do some other type of huge event that could be causing symptoms because you're really thinking about doing well and you don't want to fail, that's really anxiety, but that's very temporary. If you're getting anxiety disorder, or you're getting this on a constant basis, as I was, especially the shaking, that to me was due to low blood sugar. And it will mimic these symptoms. And the worse the low blood sugar, due to either a liver or heart issue, can cause these problems as chronic and be labeled as anxiety. Now again, this is what happened to me. I overcame this by changing my diet, obviously, and it took a while. It didn't happen overnight. The more severe my problem was, the more heart palpitations I got. And heart palpitations meant when my blood sugar dropped, I would get the shaking, I would sweat, I would feel cold. These are all common low blood sugar symptoms. Agitation, where it just comes out of nowhere. My heart would just start racing. I would get sometimes shortness of breath. And these are all related to issues with my internal organs. Okay? So yours may be different, but this is what happened to me. So as I went over before about anxiety, let's go over anxiety disorders and really compare the two. Remember, mine was caused by low blood sugar. Yours could be anxiety as well, which, as I mentioned before, you could be going to give a speech in front of a bunch of people, and this could trigger this. You could be very excited about, running a huge event or something of along those lines that could be triggering this. And anxiety disorders is going to be something more chronic. It's kind of what happened to me, but remember, I never had anxiety. It just came out of nowhere. I could be sitting on the chair just watching, something on my computer, and it would just come out of nowhere. So I would get the intense or, disappropriate emotional response ongoing, and would last weeks or months because it never really stopped. I mean, it would stop and then would, happen again later on that night, or, every time I woke up, and this is when I was at my worst. Could be going to the bathroom and the heart would start racing, and all those problems don't happen anymore, which is a good thing. And I'll get into that in a moment on how I was able to correct that. Did it interfere with my day-to-day life? Of course, I had to stop working out because my mouth would just turn extremely dry and my heart would start racing, and I would just have to down a bunch of, sugary stuff just to try to correct the issue. That's when I realized it was a blood sugar problem. So The physical symptoms like sweating, trembling, lightheadedness, and racing heart were exactly what I had. And it kind of felt that things were impossible to control or manage. Just in general, you get those feelings of kind of depression too that just really just kicked in, right? And that's my experience. But yours could be totally different. So how did I correct it? So fasting was one of the best things that really helped me. I started with the 16-8 fast method, and I still do this today. There's times I may take time off where I don't do any fasting at all for a couple days or maybe even a week, but mainly throughout the month I'm going to do some type of fasting, whether it's a 16-8, means I'm fasting 16 hours, and then I'm eating only within an 8-hour window. This is just an example. Your schedule can work differently. So if I was doing a 16-8, I would eat from 12 p.m. to 8 p.m. and then stop after 8 p.m. and do nothing again until 12 p.m. So then the next day. So that's basically no food. Drinking water primarily is what I do now. There is a dry fast. As you get more advanced, you would not drink water at that time frame, but it's best to master water fasting in 16 hours versus going to dry with no food, no water, because especially when it's hot out, and you really want to kind of be more at an expert level before you get to that. And then eating your meals within 8 hours is pretty easy. It's basically 3 meals, and I could eat every 2.5 hours and easily do that, 2 to 2.5 hours. So it's pretty easy for me to do, but if you're not used to that, you just have to kind of build up. Then you could go to like an 18-6, a 20-4, where you're fasting 20 hours and eating a 4-hour window. So there's different levels, but this is kind of the basic one, and this is what I kind of always stick with. I was also drinking spring water. And not any type of spring water like these generic brands, which have BPA bottles, estrogen, bromine. Don't drink this, as I mentioned before. Purified water would be a little better if it was made at home. Again, these all have BPA. Every single one of these bottles, they all have estrogen. They all contribute bromine, adding to the problem I already had. Not making it better. Do not drink these type of waters. Let me show you what you need to drink. These are the 2 types of waters that help me the most. There are other ones. There's Flow water, and Fiji is okay, but I would rate the Hawaiian one definitely one of the best. This is the one I currently drink now. This one I used to really enjoy, but unfortunately I can't buy it anymore. This is called Proud Source spring water. All of these are BPA free. You're not going to get the estrogen, the bromine, all the stuff that you're going to get from the traditional bottled water process. But I really want to emphasize that spring water that is not commercialized is going to be where it's at, and these are not commercialized. So if you can find one that is not, and will say BPA free on the back, and it will be from a high quality source, this is the type of stuff that you need to drink in order to help. I also consumed a lot of fruits. Now in this video, these are frozen. This is pretty much what I can get available in my area, and I did use some coconut water, or actually pineapple juice. It's something that is just pure plain pineapple juice, and I would add the coconut milk first and then put the pineapple juice over it. That way, when it's frozen fruit, it doesn't feel like it's too kind of difficult to eat, because when you're putting something such as coconut milk on it, it's going to make it thicker, and it's going to make it difficult until it kind of really dies down. It doesn't kind of defrost it. But you add something like coconut water, or you add pineapple juice on top of that after the coconut milk, all that's going to help. Okay, so this is something that I always do on a daily basis. Couple bowls of this. One in the beginning after I break my fast. First thing I do is eat a bowl of fruit, put the coconut milk on it, then add some type of other juice. Not very much, maybe like an ounce or two to kind of loosen things up, and then I could add a banana and something other than that, like raisins or organic raisins or something like that. But mainly it's the berries, blueberries, blackberries, especially cherries. All those things really helped with my heart. Fresh apples. You could do oranges if you want, but I wouldn't really put the citrus in with it. I would stick with kind of sweet fruits, something like an apple with berries, and that's usually something good. Maybe throw in some figs. So that's what I do, and that's what worked the best for me. But you definitely need to add coconut milk. Find some high quality coconut milk. You can get the ones that aren't refrigerated, and then when you open it, you gotta refrigerate it. And then you could get some organic coconut water, such as this one. This one was from Costco, and frozen fruit can be pretty much purchased anywhere. Try to look for organic if it's going to be frozen. Should be much easier to get. And if you have access to fresh fruits, by all means do the fresh fruits. They definitely are going to be better than frozen. But if you can't get the fresh ones because of where you live, frozen's better than nothing at all, and it definitely still will work and help. The last thing I want to mention is supplements. And I'm not talking about these type of supplements. That's why I'm showing you this photo. If this is from one of those chain supplement stores and it comes in one of these plastic containers, that's not what I'm talking about. It's not the plastic container that's the problem. It's what they put in the plastic container that you're consuming, aka the powders, the whatever stuff they put in there. It's all made in a lab. It's all nonsense. It's not necessary. You don't need it, and that's not what I'm talking about. And this can make your problem worse, or you might not make any grounds with doing the other things I just mentioned because you're taking these. So avoid all of these, and let me show you what you need to do. The types of supplements I'm talking about, one example is oregano oil. If it's wild oregano oil, for example, which this one from New Age is wild, undiluted, 100% pure, meaning it's not with any type of olive oil or other carrier oil built into the product, meaning half the bottle could be filled with olive oil and then half with product. The entire bottle is filled with undiluted product. So if you put a little bit of coconut oil on your lips before you put this in water, maybe to start out 1 to 3 drops in, to start about 6 to 8 ounces of water, and then as you reduce the water to 4 to 6 ounces or even 2 to 4 ounces, it's going to make the product stronger. But this wild oregano oil is great to take on an empty stomach. Some people may need to have food, but this also helps. This is great to take probably about 3 weeks out of the month. So you could go 3 weeks straight, take a week off, or you could do 5 days a week, take 2 days off. It's not something that has to be taken every day, but it's something that will help along with the process. Any herb you should always cycle off of, just because it's going to help the body. Just like you shouldn't really eat the same foods day in, day out. It's the same thing with herbs, but this is one example. Also, black seed oil is great, but you want the Egyptian black seed oil. You don't want all the other chemicals and all the other nonsense. Black seed oil with just even a quarter teaspoon or half a teaspoon, really about a half a teaspoon per day is what you would need. You could do this again 3 weeks a month and take 1 week off, or you could do 5 days a week, take 2 days off. But the Egyptian black seed oil is fantastic and will also help. Again, these are all pretty much herbs, and these are the type of supplements I'm talking about, not the ones that you're going to get at those chain stores. Those are not going to help. Now, there's other supplements you can take as well, But just good old water, maybe one of the electrolyte powders that I have shown in some of my other videos that if you go on my channel, Mr. Healer, you can scroll down. You'll see the berry one. That's pretty much what I do after a workout. But working out is very important, especially weightlifting. As I mentioned earlier, I had to stop the exercise due to my symptoms that mimicked anxiety, but was really low blood sugar because it was just too difficult to make it through the workout. My tongue would turn super dry, and the heart would just start racing out of control. So once I got the issue corrected where I could get back on track and do everything that I just mentioned, the weightlifting also helped me. So it could be running, it could be lifting, you could do light lifting or heavier lifting. Right now I do heavier lifting. I'll lift for about 4 or 5 weeks, and I'll take a full week off from the gym, and then I'll go back to doing about every other day and working different body parts, especially my legs. I'm doing squats, sometimes deadlifts, but I really don't do any bench, but I'm using a lot of free weights, and I'm doing pull-ups and pretty much doing a whole body workout, something I've been able to do since I was a teenager. And now that I'm older, I realize that working out is even more important, but this is one of the crucial things that I would add into it. And I will work out while I'm fasted. So if I'm doing a 16-8 fast, I will work out with whatever my fasting window is, just drink water, and then I'll break my fast with a bowl of fruit. So there you have it, folks. This is what I have done. This is what has worked for me. I follow this very meticulously now. I'm always making adjustments here or there. But again, if you want to add other supplements such as olive leaf extract, things like that, that's going to help. But you really don't need to go too broad in them. I've done like milk thistle in the past and things like that for maybe about a month. But, again, you don't need a lot. That's what I did because those things really helped with my issues. Liver, kidneys, and heart are something that is very important. And working out, while it is great for you, it does some things that need antioxidants to help really give it the whole package. Because working out can create free radicals, but to get rid of those is the antioxidants with the fruits, the fasting, all of that. So it's all a combination, folks. You can't just wake up one day and take something and it's magically going to go away for anything. And you can't just really work on one issue. You got to work on your whole entire body. And that's where it comes down to where people heal and others don't. Because you can't just say, hey, I'm going to work out, but I'm going to go pick up, a 6-pack of donuts when I'm done. That's going to be a complete waste of time. You're going to gain weight. You're going to still get heart issues. You're going to cause a lot of inflammation. So that's something that should be avoided. But again, this is kind of the basics of what I follow, and it works very well for me. Thank you so much, everyone. Keep moving forward. I wish you all the best. And remember, once again, this is not medical advice. This is just from my own experience and what has worked very well for me. Thank you.